And pivot now to an ominous warning from the U.S. auto industry concerning the extreme threat of China's Communist Party. Right now, a group of automakers sounding the alarm on Capitol Hill and desperately urging lawmakers to prevent the communist regime from opening up a bunch of manufacturing plants right here stateside in the U.S., claiming they are a clear and present danger to our entire nation. The group includes most of the major players like GM, Ford, Toyota, and all the rest, and urging the Trump administration to act right away. They say that by subsidizing automakers and battery manufacturers around the world, Communist China is flooding the market with less expensive items, making it impossible to compete no matter how much they invest. They're now asking Congress to uphold our nation's current ban on the import of Chinese-made automobiles and other relevant technology by keeping the communist regime from setting up shop here on our home turf. Now, as one congressman very clearly points out, China has recently grown to become the world's largest auto exporter by shipping out millions of vehicles at below market prices, which car makers around the world simply can't match. Furthermore, he says the communist regime has turned the auto industry into a tool of the state through their crafty methods, very crafty, very sneaky, including by controlling supply chains, underwriting expenses, and through all of their predatory regulations. I hope this is ringing some bells and you got to start thinking about this. Send us some comments. Tell us what you're thinking about this, and I'm mortified by it. I'm frightened by it. And final thought, this is the News Roundup Lowdown. The major automakers here in the States, they're stating the obvious. But keeping China-backed companies from setting up shop and operating here in the States, just a portion of the problem. And clearly, we have to ensure that China is not permitted to gain a substantial market share here in the U.S. by prohibiting them from shipping their cars and trucks to us. And right now, the last thing any of us needs to do is drive by one of those BYD car dealerships on Main Street with those swooper flags that read, "Sale, we finance, new arrivals." Yeah, but we don't want those Chinese-made cars. None of us want to spend a wad of dough on a ride made in China. With the proceeds from the sale of that car, you know where it's going. It's going to support the Chinese Communist Party. Something else to consider. Today, the average price of a new car here in the USA, about $50 large, which puts those rides out of the reach for far too many of us. So Ford, GM, all the rest, try dumbing down the price just a pinch to ensure that you stay competitive. Also, think about the quality of the build. Seems like every couple of days there's another recall. Tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of cars and trucks always being recalled. If people are doling out a wad of dough for that new rig, make sure it's not going to get yanked out of their driveway in just a couple of weeks. Hey, producer Davey, just kind of curious. If you could buy a new ride, one of those rides made in China, BYD, or any of the rest of them, at the right price, would you take the dive? Would you give it a shot?
Absolutely not, Bill. Way too many security issues. And look, allowing the Communist Party to set up shop here, that's just a bad idea.
It is a bad idea, any way you think about it. And I think it's just unfortunately a matter of time, though, before cars made in China will be available here in the States. But safety and security issues for me as well, Davey, that's going to keep me away. And for a little while longer, I'm going to stay put in my American-made GMC. It's been a good workhorse for a number of seasons.